So I was a bit hesitant to start out with this story, mostly because it's not exactly the earliest story of the Desert Rats. Also, it doesn't exactly show us in the greatest light, as it's kind of one of our uh, earliest bumbling mistakes as a team. But this is the story of Gangland and the Forgotten Guns. Uh, where to start with this one? Okay, so first of all, there was a game that got posted on Airsoft Pacific called Gangland, and of course it drew our attention just because it was something a bit different than, Operation Burning Silver or Operation Floating Eagle, just, stereotypical stuff like that. So we checked it out, and basically the premise was your team had to work in a teamly fashion. Like, it wasn't just, you signed up for a side, it was like your team was working as, like, your team. So it was competition style, I'll say that. So you signed up, and then you were told to basically choose a theme for your team, and it was supposed to be something sort of gang associated. So it could be like the mafia, FBI, mob squad, something very gang associated. And our first thought that went through our head was Ocean's 11. That didn't exactly work out because there weren't 11 of us, and it's kind of hard to pull off a Brad Pitt look or a George Clooney look. Yeah, it doesn't really work that well. So, and this is probably when we had about, I think, 6 people on the team. I think it's probably what we had. But we ended up deciding that we wanted to go with the Yakuza. And we had a freaking blast preparing for this. We all just got our most dapper clothes that we had. I had like a freaking blue suit, which I got as a hand-me-down from my brother, but it was still a freaking sweet suit. I grabbed the most elaborate shirt I could find in my closet, and I threw that on underneath it, and we decided we all needed to give ourselves the impression of full-body tattoos by basically taking Sharpies and, like, drawing up to the backs of our hands and making it look like it went all the way up. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with this. It was a pistols-only competition, I should say that right now. So we scraped together all the pistols that our team had, and that was a point where we hadn't really decided that, pistols were a necessary thing. It was more of just like a whoa, gas pistols exist, we can have those, that's awesome. So it was really early on in our gun acquisition days. So I think maybe 2 people on the team had gas pistols. The rest of us were going to be using spring pistols, or if you can recall those really cheap electric blowback pistols they sell at like Big 5 and places like that. Yeah, we were using those. But we didn't care because we just wanted to do the game because it sounded like a blast. So, little backstory first. I kind of developed a reputation at that point for carrying my P90, which was my first AEG, to fields in a guitar case. And I got the guitar case because in high school I was a bit of a theater nerd, and so backstage in the theater room was just full of everything you could want for props. So in the corner during one of our cleanouts, I found an old guitar case, and I asked if I could keep it, and I was allowed to. And I took a little bit of inspiration from El Mariachi, if anyone's seen Desperado or Once Upon a Time in Mexico. So I started carrying my gun to the field in that. And then everyone kind of decided, it'd be really sweet. Let's put all of the pistols in the guitar case. And when we get there, we open it up, everyone grabs their gun, pulls it out. Yeah, it'll be so cool. You can see where this is going. So, day before, we pile all of our guns into this case, and we get all of our stuff ready. The next day, early in the morning, because we had like a 2-hour drive to get to the field, get all dressed up, we do our final touch-ups with our tattoos. I think some of us even like slicked our hair back with hair gel. It's the only time I've ever actually used hair gel prior to an airsoft game, which was weird, but cool. So we hopped into our giant van and drove 2 hours to get to this field, and actually it wasn't really a field, it was known as the Crack House. Yeah. It was a place which I know got used a lot for CQC competitions prior to Desert Rats kind of coming onto the scene. The only time I ever actually got to see the Crack House was for Gangland, and basically, if you can imagine, literally a freaking crack house in the middle of a city, and it was a place which was sanctioned and designated for airsoft use. It was very, very just in the middle of nowhere, basically. I mean, it was kind of like if you can imagine just like the abandoned warehouse district, which every single Godzilla and Power Rangers Zord fight takes place, that was pretty much what it was. It was just this crack house in the middle of this giant warehouse district. At least that's what I can recollect. But yes, it was a very appropriate airsoft facility. So we get to the field, we come out, and we see everyone like dressed in like, oh, they're dressed as FBI. They're dressed as just like straight up mafia. They got the fedoras. They got the long trench coats. It looked awesome. I mean, it was really a sight to see. And there was even a group of guys who, like, it was really simple. It was just white wife beaters with orange jumpsuits. So they were just basically escaped convicts. It was really fun. It was a great atmosphere. So we pull up to the field. You know, we hop out. We're talking to people, and then we open the back of the van. We look inside, and where's the guitar case? Is it up front? No. Did it go under the seats? No. Okay, stop messing around. Where the hell's the guitar case? I'm not messing around. It's not back here. Yeah, we left it on the kitchen table, 2 hours away. Every single solitary gun that we were going to bring, we left at the house. So, we were in full costume at an airsoft competition, gunless. And one member's response was just, okay, I'm just going to go sit in the van and sulk, really pissed off. And a lot of the blame got kind of pushed on me, and I really heavily denied it back then because I kind of stuck with the argument of, you know, it was your guys' guns too. You know, you guys should have had just as much of a thought on the fact that, you know, where is your gun? You know, have a knowledge of where the hell your gun is. Is it in the car or is it still in the house? But the blame kind of got put on me since it was my guitar case. Yeah, I can see that now. I guess I'm not as stubborn as I was back then. I can kind of see how the blame might be a little bit more on me. It was my case, and it wasn't actually my idea. It was not my idea to put all the guns in the case. That was more of a team collaboration. Anyways, the end verdict was we started asking around, and people were actually nice enough so that we actually got permission to borrow a few guns from other teams, and we actually got to borrow guns which were a hell of a lot better than ones we were going to bring. I do remember I got to use a Tokyo Mari gas blowback M9, which was very cool to me back then. Someone else I think got to use 1911s, and just so we all got really well outfitted. The scenario itself, I should probably talk about that. Basically, it was you had to infiltrate the house, and in the basement, or not the basement area, but the first floor area, there was going to be 1 or 2 guards, which you had to take out, and just throughout the entire house, you had to acquire just props, basically. Like, there was stacks of money, there was stacks of cocaine, powdered sugar, in little plastic baggies, and, you know, just watches, just anything you could kind of associate with someone wanting to sell it for a price, or something that would, like, have a really substantial money value. You had to grab that, and I think the person or the team that came out with the highest cash value plus like taking the fewest losses on their team, I think that's who ended up the winner. I'm pretty sure we came in dead last at that point, because this was, if this wasn't our first team competition, it was close. It was really close. So yeah, we took dead last, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that was pretty much Gangland, and it's something that really stuck with me for a long time in terms of taking all the blame for leaving all the guns at the house. And ever since then, you know, we've been exceptionally cautious. And I don't know if there's any moral to take away from this, except know where the hell your guns and your equipment is right up to the point where you're getting in the car to drive. Yeah, that's the story. Stay tuned for more and a few more reviews. Thanks very much, guys, and have a great day.